Hey guys, and welcome to River Raven Collects. Today we are looking at Dojo. So he is part of the Spawn, the Samurai Wars series. But this guy is quite interesting. He looks like more monster or demon or something. So the other two in the series that we've already unboxed, the Samurai Spawn and Scorpion Assassin, they kind of look like relatively normal and not really monstrous, but this guy, he looks like a real monster, which is really cool. So I'm glad that they've gone for something different with this one. But anyway, he was released in 2001, July 2001. So he is almost 22 years old, which the level of detail on these figures is absolutely incredible for back then. And I really wish Mcfarlane would go back and do this level of detail again today. But anyway guys, let's get him open and out of his box. Alright guys, so we got him here in his box. We got a nice little picture of him up here in the corner. Love that they've done that for all the boxes. And here we've got Dojo. So he's got a couple of little heads here, and then his big mace thing. I actually forget what the correct term is for that, but anyway, most of the demons have them in Japanese mythology. But yeah, that's him. So we've got down here as well, Ultra Action figure of course, and Series 19 camera if you want to focus. Sorry. And Dojo on the side. So onto the back of the box, we've got Dojo here, and he's holding a spear. So the spear doesn't come in the box. And if we head down here, a little disclaimer that you need the accessories pack if you want the spear or the extras. So all the photos here are shown with extra stuff, and we've got his info card here, so if you want to pause and have a read of that, feel free to do it, but I am not going to be reading him out. But yeah, and then down here we've got some music stuff, and then some 3D animation from Japan too, and the Collectors Club. So that's basically that, so let's get him open. So I've noticed something about these boxes, that they've been fighting me a little bit more. So this one was putting up a fight, wanted to hold on to the back of the cardboard, so we've still got it all stuck on there, but it's not too much of a struggle to pull it off. But here's Dojo. So yeah, he looks pretty awesome. He obviously looks like he's one of the bigger figures in this set, but he's got this lovely tail on the back. And then we've got this little pull out. So this is what they did for the other figures they're putting out, and I think that's pretty poor. It's just a list of all of them, so that is pretty poor advertising. But anyway, we've got the instructions. So yeah, you can put the shrunken heads on here, or various points I should say, and the club goes into either hand. And then the accessory pack instructions, we get a spear as well as a staff or banner type thing that goes in his back. So that wasn't actually in the photos, so I guess they couldn't fit it in there because it's quite tall. But anyway, let's get Dojo out of his box. So a few zip ties, and I couldn't quite get that one off, so we actually had to unwrap it. And then we've got the tape. So it's always a battle to get these tapes off, but remember it's been in there like 22 years. So, but here's his club. So this is actually like really nice. I actually wish it was bigger. I feel like the size of him doesn't quite add up to his club. And it's got like a little crocodile head on the top here, which is a nice touch. I think that looks really cool. Because, you know, they don't have to add these extra details, but they do, and I just appreciate like those little details. So we've got these shrunken heads as well. Be honest, not the biggest fan of these, even though I just said I appreciate the little details, but yeah, I feel like I'm going to lose those at some point. But on to the main event. We've got Dojo now out of his box, and yeah, he's nice. The back's probably a little disappointing, I think. I think they didn't do too much with the back here, though I do really like this tail. And yeah, I just like how different he is. They didn't have to make a monster like this. They probably could have stuck with like the samurai, more accurate samurai theme that they've got going on. but they didn't. They decided to do something different. So let's look at the articulation anyway. So we've obviously got his tail there, and it's got 2 different joints. And I think the idea of the tail is it's got this flat bit. So I assume it's supposed to help him stand up, because if you look at his feet, he's got like these hoof feet. So yeah, those aren't very good for standing on, so they've kind of added this tail to help him stand up, which is pretty good. There's a little bit of movement here on the legs, but really barely any. And if they didn't have like the gold things on the knees, you could probably move it a lot more. And it's the same sort of all over with this figure. He's not got much movement on him, and I don't like, for a figure that's got this sort of mass, I don't really mind, as long as, like, because it's so different, I don't really mind that we lose some of the articulation. So that could be something. If you like figures with articulation, well, this guy has really got barely any. But to me, it's not really a problem, because I'm just going to display him anyway. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, not much articulation all over. I noticed that he's got these little holes in the feet, and I don't know why they're there, because there's no stand that comes in the box, and he does stand pretty well on his own. He has a tendency to kind of lean forwards, unfortunately, but if you adjust the tail, you can kind of get it into a spot that feels better. So this is something I noticed, that the weapons don't really like hold in his hand properly, and I'm assuming it's because you would be able to give these weapons to the other figures in the line, and they made his hand so big, but the other figures in the line don't have big hands like that. So I think that's why they don't fit properly. So maybe you could give it to another figure. It's not too much of a drama. I do really wish that his club, he would hold that properly, but yeah. So on the instructions, it says to put these heads on this point, but they do say you can put on various points, and I don't like it there whatsoever. I actually, yeah, I don't really like having little items like this that don't really have a place to go, because I don't want to lose them. I'm gonna put them up here though, and they're reasonably secure here. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with them, if I'm gonna take them off, or yeah, just I don't want to lose it, and I just want to keep, you know, everything together. So there are plenty of points you can hang it off though, so I don't know, I guess it's up to you. So this is the accessories pack, or what's left of it. So not everything goes on this figure. There are 2 things out of this box that go on to the figure. So we've got the spear here, and I'm just going to cut him out. And then we've got this like staff skull banner thing. I'm not really sure what to call it, but it's not really a weapon. It's yeah, more of a banner or like decorative thing. So the spear here, this is quite nice. It's got this nice like silver wrap around it, and then the top's kind of got some symbols and stuff on it. I don't think they're Japanese. I didn't run them through a Google Translate or anything. And then we've kind of got this little club at the end. And then on the other side we have this little dragon, so that looks quite nice. I like that. But that's that. And then we've got this, so it's kind of just like a dragon skull or something. So this looks alright. Yeah, that's basically all I've got to say about it. It looks alright. So I'm just going to put these other details in now. So this goes through a loop on his back and into this like belt thing. So there's actually a hole down there that it slides into, right there. So it should just loop through his back and slide in there. So it just goes in like this, and to my surprise it's actually very secure. Probably doesn't even need the loop part, but it's nice to hold it in there. So this makes him a lot taller, if you can count that as making him taller. I do. So yeah, he's now quite a big figure. and then we've got the spear. So I actually thought this came apart to kind of slip into his hand easier, but it doesn't, so don't keep pulling on it. But yeah, you just kind of have to force it in here, and it is rather awkward to try and get it in here. As you can see, I've kind of bent it, so yeah, I'm not sure what the easiest way would be to do that, but obviously you want to be careful with it because you don't want it to break. But yeah, that kind of sits in there like that. I have it sitting on the ground so it doesn't quite fall out of his hand like it wants to, but yeah. Anyway, I'll leave you guys with the showcase and then I'll be back with my final thoughts. Alright guys, that has been our look at Dojo. Let me know what you think of him down in the comments. If this is a figure you have or have had, let me know what you think of him. For me, I do really like him. I think he's very unique. I love the lizardy dragon tail thing that he has. I like that he's in the samurai attire, of course, that's awesome. And the faces on the stomach are a really nice touch, like he's been eating souls or something and they're all trapped in there. I really like that. There are some unfortunate things about this figure though. One being that his weapons, his hands are just the wrong size, so the weapons are very loose and they don't sit quite properly in there, which I guess isn't that big of a gripe. There is one big issue with this guy. Actually, it's a small issue, which is he is tiny in comparison to the other figures in this line. And for me, that is really disappointing. He looks so out of place next to them. So, yeah, and there's nothing that can really be done about that. He is just a small figure, and I'm not sure why they made him so small. It could be because he's a lot, bigger in mass, that maybe they didn't have the plastic to make him bigger. I'm really unsure of why he is so small. The figures that we're getting today, Mcfarlane has the normal size figures, and then he has the big figures, and this is something that should have been a big figure. I don't know if Mcfarlane even had that in mind back here in 2001, but this is something that, yeah, should have been a lot bigger. It was very weird, actually. It was quite a shock when I put him next to Scorpion Assassin and he was small, because I always pictured him as this big, imposing mass, and he's actually quite a small figure. Yeah, it was quite a shock. But yeah, that is a real shame, I think, because he does look like he's this big imposing mass, and then he's not. So yeah, that is quite the predicament. And I think that they've put like this staff thing on him that makes him like so much taller, to kind of give him some more height or something. But yeah, besides that, I think the details here surprisingly aren't as well done as the ones that we've also seen as well. So I guess a lot of things about this figure are just kind of a level down, which is unfortunate. Yeah, because I've been really enjoying these figures in the line, and this is kind of the only one that's stumped me a bit. But let me know what you guys think of him. Is him being this size like a problem to you, or you don't care, or maybe even like him being this tiny? So let me know down below. Hit the like button, and if it's your first time here, please hit the subscribe button, because I've got a lot more of these figures to unbox, as well as other Mcfarlane figures. And on top of that, there's also anime figures that I'm going to be unboxing eventually. So make sure you do subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.